So, क्या हो?
तो मुझे इसको ऐसे रखिए ना, आप देख लीजिए।
Okay, so let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna.
Hare
Welcome to the Shrimad Bhagvatam class. Today is also the last day of Navratri. It's a very auspicious day. So in the first session of Bhagavatam, we discussed the importance of Bhagavatam, why Narad Muni instructed Vyasadeva to write a scripture exclusively on devotional service. And that's why Narad Muni, Vyasadeva, on the instructions of Narad Muni wrote Shrimad Bhagvatam. And then last time we discussed the conversation between Dharma in the form of a bull and earth in the form of a cow. And how they were then harassed by Kali in the form of a king. He was lower than a Shudra but dressed as a king, and he was harassing them. And so who came to their rescue? Parikshit. And he chastised Kali, and when Kali surrendered, Parikshit Maharaj did not kill him, but instead he said, "You can't live in my kingdom. Where can you live?"
Where is the 4 places?
First he gave 4 places:
Where there's
gambling, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex. And then Kali said that in your kingdom none of these take place. So then Parikshit Maharaj said, "You can live in wealth also." Because when there is excessive wealth, then people do all sorts of sinful activities. So that's how Parikshit Maharaj controlled the age of Kali. So today we will discuss the last 2 chapters of Shrimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1. These are chapters 18 and 19. And we are just doing a summary study, so I'll start from verse number 11. So Shaunak Rishi is narrating this pastime to all the sages at Naimisharanya, headed by Suta Goswami. So after narrating how Parikshit Maharaj controlled the age of Kali, so then all the rishis, all the sages at Naimisharanya, they say, Rishaya Uju Suta Jiva Samasomya Shashvatir Vishadam Yasha Yastvam Shamsasi Krishnasya Martyanam Amritam Hina. So he says that Shashvati, may you live forever. Yeah. Sometimes we give Ashirvad. Yeah. Sada, आजीवन आप 1 मिनट कि आप
चिरंजीवी
हाँ कि आप लंबे समय तक जिए. तो उसी प्रकार सब all the rishis, they gave blessings to Suta Goswami that may you live many years. Suta Jiva Sama Somya Shashvatir Vishadam Yasha Yastvam Shamsasi Krishnasya. And you have very nicely described the pastimes of Krishna. What is the advantage? Martyanam Amritam Hina. So for people who are going to die, that is all of us, it is like Amrit. So the pastimes of Krishna are like nectar for people who are mortals, who are about to die. So that is all of us. So therefore, we need to hear the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Now these sages, they say a very important thing in verse 12, very famous verse. Karmanyasmin nashvase Dhumra dhumratmanam bhavan apayayati govinda pad padma savam madhu. So they said that what these sages were doing in Naimisharanya, they were doing fruitive activities, they were doing yajna. So they are saying, what did we get from yajna? What was the advantage of doing yajna? They say, dhumra dhumrat manam bhavan. We got only smoke. All our bodies, they got covered with soot from this yajna. That was the only advantage we got from yajna. Because in Kali Yuga, yajnas are not effective. I was reading one conversation by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada says that in Vrindavan, when we opened our temple, we had to do a big yajna, because otherwise the local brahmanas would not have accepted us. But if it was left only to me, I would have just done kirtan. Because yajnas are for ordinary people who are interested in karma. But for a devotee of the Lord, just by chanting the names of the Lord, everything is accomplished. So, some years ago, I was reading the book of samskaras. That there are various samskaras to be performed from birth till death. So even before birth, there is Garbhadham samskar for the conception. Then there is Simant samskar at 7 months. Then at birth there is the umbilical cord cutting samskar. Like that, there are various samskaras throughout our life and death. But in all these samskaras, even if you perform yajnas, the most essential thing is pleasing Lord Vishnu by chanting his names and by distributing prasad. So all these samskaras are meant to please the Lord. But if you directly tell someone that, oh, a child is born, I will come and do some kirtan, then people will say, oh, maja nahi hai. Something else should be there. But you make a sacrificial fire, you put ingredients, create some smoke alarm goes off. Then people think, oh, something happened. Something happened like that. So here, listen, these are sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunak Rishi. And all the Puranas, they have been spoken in this assembly. Mahabharata was spoken in this assembly. So here, these sages are saying that we have just started our yajna, but all we have got is smoke. Our bodies have become black from smoke. But what has actually pleased us, apayati govinda pada padman savam madhu. But what is actually pleasing us is the nectar which is coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. That is actually pleasing. So even they are realizing. Tulayam lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam bhavat asangi sangasya martyanam kim utashisha. So here they are saying that the value of association with a devotee, bhavat sangi sangasya, tulayam lavenapi, one lover, this unit of time is 1/6 of a second. So even a fraction of a second's association with Bhavat Sangi, with the devotee of the Lord, is enough to, it cannot be compared to even heavenly planets or liberation. So what to speak of material prosperity? So what is more important than yajnas? What are the sages saying? Association of a devotee, because that will give not only whatever people desire, it can give the association of the Supreme Lord. It can give liberation. So then again, there is a beautiful verse, many devotees memorize this verse. Konam tripye rasavik kathayam mahattamekanta parayanasya nantam gunanam gunasya jagmu yogeshwaraye bhavapadamukya. So here the sages are saying that Krishna is the shelter of all living entities, and his transcendental qualities, they cannot be measured even by Shiva and Brahma. Okay. So anyone who hears about Lord Krishna, can he ever be satisfied? They want to hear more and more and more. So therefore the sages are requesting that please describe to us some more pastimes of Krishna. So this is a very important aspect in Shrimad Bhagavatam, that even the sages of Naimisharanya, who know all the Vedas, who are performing all the yajnas, even they are not happy with Dvaita. They want to hear the glories of Lord Krishna in the association of devotees. So what we are doing here is very powerful. Coming together, hearing about Krishna, this is the summum bonum of life. And this will give you more satisfaction than doing anything else. So that's why hearing Bhagavatam in the association of devotees is very important. And one should dedicate some time in this venture. Okay. This is the recommendation of all the sages. So now the sages are saying that what we want to hear about Maharaj Parikshit. Tell us something more about Maharaj Parikshit. So in text 18, Suta Goswami says, Aho vayam janma bhritodya hasma vriddhan vrityapi vinoma jata doshkulya madhim vidunoti shigram mahattamanam vidhana yoga. So he's saying that although we are born in a mixed caste, Suta Goswami is saying that although I am not of a very high birth, but still we are promoted because we are simply following Mahattamana. We are following the great personalities who are devotees of the Lord. So many a times, especially in India, I was once traveling in a train. So someone asked me, what is your name? I was chanting, so they asked me, what is your name? So I said, Deepak Gupta. No, I said, Dr. Deepak Gupta. So that person said, oh, tum baniya ho. So I thought, when will this mentality disappear? That from my surname, he understood my caste. But he did not see that I am chanting Krishna's name or I have put a prefix to my name, Doctor. So once he established my caste, then he said, "Okay." So I said, what is your name? So he said, so and so Sharma, means I am a Brahman. I said, very nice. So he said, after some time, what are you doing? So I said, I am following the process recommended for Kali Yuga, which is chanting the names of Krishna. So you should also chant, everyone should chant. So then he became not interested. So then he did not disturb me for the whole day. So people are not interested. But even though Suta Goswami is saying here, even though we may be of a lower birth, but by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, we become elevated in our spiritual progress. Okay. Because of my past karma, I may be born in a lower family. So no problem. What's the issue? I can still make progress in this world. I'm not doomed. That you are born in this family, so you are doomed. Not like that. By hearing the pastimes of Krishna, even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. And later on we will see how a Brahman boy was influential in bringing Kali Yuga. We will hear that very shortly. Okay. So the point is that no matter what your birth is, no matter what your caste is, no matter what yajnas you are performing, all that is irrelevant. Just by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, one, you will become supremely happy, supremely satisfied. And second, you will achieve the association of God. So this is the conclusion of the sages. And then they are saying that Kutah Punar गृणतो नाम तस्य महत्तमेकान्तपरायणस्य योनंत शक्तिर भगवान अनंतो महद्गुणत्वाद यमनंतमाहु. So he is saying that what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency. So for those who are kutah punar grinato namatasya, so those who are specifically chanting the names of the Lord, for them the destination is supreme. You don't have to worry. So Bhagavatam, here Vyasadeva is not messing words. In other Puranas he is saying do this, do that. So Narad Muni chastises him. Here he is saying no, just chant the names of Krishna, hear his pastimes, perform devotional service in this way. Okay, clear? This section is clear? Okay. So in this way he continues glorifying, and then he describes the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj. So from text 24 onwards, the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj is described. So Parikshit Maharaj, one day he was engaged in hunting in the forest with bow and arrow, and that day it became quite intense for him. So he became afflicted with thirst. And while searching for water, he reached the hermitage of Shamika Rishi. And Shamika Rishi was seated in meditation with his eyes closed. So imagine King Parikshit, this great warrior, he is thirsty, so looking for water, he reaches the hermitage of Shamika Rishi. Now Shamika Rishi, he is not a charlatan meditator. It is described in the next verse. Pratiruddhen indriya prana manobuddhim paratam sthanatrayat param praptam brahma bhutam vikriyam. So he had restrained all his senses and he was meditating on the Supreme. So that is the purpose of yoga. The purpose of Dhyana Yoga is to restrain the senses. In my current hospital, they have asked me to teach them yoga. So I said the first step of yoga is yoga. So I said the first step of yoga is to control your senses. It's to lead a righteous life. Then to purify yourself. Then you do asana, then you do pranayama, and then you attain samadhi. So just flexing your body in various ways is not yoga. You will not achieve anything. So here, Shamika Rishi, he is seated in his ashram and he has actually restrained his senses and he is meditating. So in that position he is there. And the king asked him for water. Okay. So in king's experience, he may have seen other meditators and he would have asked them, so they would have obliged. So he asked the sage, can I have some water? So the sage, he did not know anything of the external world. Sometimes it happens. I'm reading something, Supriya says, asks a question, I don't know, then she becomes angry. Why did he not respond? So here also the sage is meditating, the king has asked him a question, he does not respond. So the king becomes angry that you have not offered me alaptatrina bhumyadir. So you have not even offered me a seat. If someone comes to your home, what do you first say? Come in, have a seat. Then you say, we want something, water, kya launga aapke? So you have not done anything like that. I have come as a guest, I am the king, and you have not even received me with seat, place, water, and sweet addresses. Okay. If you have nothing to offer, if you are so poor, or if for some reasons you cannot offer, at least offer some sweet words. And then that is proper atithya, that is proper way to receive a guest. So the king is thinking that you have not done anything like that. So he becomes angry. He is thirsty, he is not received properly, so the king becomes angry. Abhut purva sahasa shutridhyam artid atmanam brahmanam pratyabhut brahman vatsaro manyarevacha. So it is said abhut purva sahasa. This circumstance was unusual. Just remember, Parikshit Maharaj, after he is cursed, for next 7 days, when he hears Shrimad Bhagvatam, he will not eat or drink. So it's not that he did not have the capacity to control his hunger and thirst. But that was very unusual circumstance. So he is now Bhut Purva Sahasa, and distressed with hunger and thirst, he directed his anger and envy towards Shamik Rishi. And what did he do? He picked up a dead snake and put him on the sage's shoulders and he left. Okay. That you are as good as dead. Just as the snake is dead, useless, you are as good as dead too. So he put this dead snake on the Rishi's shoulders and he walked away. And then when he came to his palace, then immediately, this is the sign of a good person. Even if they make a mistake, they immediately reflect upon it. So what do you think? Esham ki nibrita shesh karano militekshana mrisha samadhir arohas svikitum na syat kshatra bandhuvi. He said, was the sage actually in meditation? Or just because I am a lower Kshatriya, I am lower than a Brahman, he was feigning meditation. So he begins to think, what was actually happening? Was he actually meditating or was he not? So the king began to think like this. Meanwhile, what happened is, Shamik Rishi had a son Shringi, and he was playing with his friends somewhere else. So one of the sages informed Shringi. So Shringi is not at that place, he is playing somewhere else. So this person informs him that King Parikshit had come and he put a dead snake around your father. So Shringi, when he heard this, he spoke as follows. Aho adharma palanam pifnam bali bhujamima swami nyagham yad dasanam dwarpanam shunamima. He said, just look at these Kshatriyas, how sinful they have become. What is the position of Kshatriya in relation to Brahmanas? They are like crows and dogs at the door of Brahmana. The Shringi is angry. He says, "Arey, kya samajhte ho? Kaua ho tum, kutta ho tum. हमारे घर के बाहर रहने के लायक. And now you are performing sins towards us against the religious principles. Brahmane chatra bandurhi grahpalo nirupita sakatham tad grihe dvastha sabhanda bhuktumarhati." So you are designated as dogs and you should stay outside the door. Dogs are not meant to stay inside the house like you see nowadays. They are meant to stay outside. So on what grounds can the dog enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same day? तो राजा तुम्हारी ये जुर्रत कैसे हुई कि तुम हमारे घर में आके हमसे पानी मांगो? तुम्हारा स्थान कहाँ है? घर के बाहर, कुत्ते की तरह बाहर रुको. This is what small boys say, and then he even remembers Krishna, Shringi, in his anger. He says, Krishna gate bhagavati shastar yut tatha gaminam. Krishna has just left the planet and these Kshatriyas, they think that our protector has gone. So now they are insulting us. So beware, now I will take matters in my own hand. And pashyate me balam. Now see my power, what I will do. You may think I am a Brahman boy, you may think Krishna has left, there is no one to protect us. But now you see the power of Brahmanas. So, ityuktva roshatam raksho vayasyan rishi balaka kaushikya upasprishya vagvrijam visasarjaha. So he touched the water of the river Kaushik when they were playing, and he discharged the thunderbolt of words. What did he say? Iti langit maryadam takshaka saptame hani damshati sma kulangaram chodito me tadruham. That in 7 days, on 7th day, a snake bird Takshak will come and he will bite Parikshit Maharaj because he has insulted my father. And then, after cursing this, then he came to his father's place. Now see the difference. Parikshit Maharaj saw that Kali Yuga was hurting the bull. Did he punish him then and there? No. What did he do? Sorry?
He gave him a chance.
He first asked the bull.
He asked the bull.
What is the cause of your misery?
Yeah.
Accusation.
He asked Kali, what were you doing? Okay. So that is the proper way. First find out what is going on. Then mete out punishment. Here, as soon as he heard, king put a dead snake around my father, he said, he's a dog, he's a crow, I'll punish him, he will die in 7 days. That's fine. Yeah, it's okay. That devotee has such forms. So, now he comes to the hermitage and he looks at his father and he begins to cry loudly. So, Shamik Rishi, who is a descendant of Angira Rishi, he hears his son crying. He opens his eyes and sees the dead snake around his shoulders, around his neck. So he throws the snake and he asks him, Visrijyatam prapacha vatsa kasmaditi rodishi kenava te apakritam ityukta sanyavede. So you know what Shamik Rishi said? He said, my dear son Shringi, has someone caused any harm to you? Why are you so upset? So Shamik Rishi himself did not make much of a dead snake. Why? Because he is a liberated soul. In his meditation, he has refrained from all the senses. He is beyond anger and envy. So he is telling his son, why are you crying? Has someone harmed you? So then Shringi says, this Parikshit came, you did not respond, so you put a dead snake. So father, he becomes very upset. It says, Nishamya Shaktam Matadarham Narendram Sabhamano Natmajam Abhyananda Aho Batam Ho Mahat Yatyate Kritam Alpi Yasidroha Uruddamo Drita. So he tells his son that, what have you done? The king should not have been punished in this way. Even punishment should be equal. If you put a dead snake on someone, will you go and shoot that person? So even the punishment should be equal. So he says that, okay, the king may have done something, but he should not have been cursed. Why? Because the king is the best among all human beings, especially King Parikshit. Look at King Parikshit, even Krishna protected him in the womb. So sometimes a person may make a mistake, but you have to also look at the background. I was reading in Manu Samhita many years ago that the punishment for the same offense is different for different people. Okay. So if someone, I don't remember now, but the punishment for a Brahman was much less than that for other castes. And I was thinking about it. So someone who is actually a genuine Brahman, who knows all the principles, he will not do any mistakes. So even if he does a mistake, one has to take into account, what is his upbringing, what is his character. Even nowadays, judges take that into account. I do medical legal work, So sometimes I get reports that, okay, this person has killed someone, but what was his mental state at the time? Was he disturbed? Was he psychotic? Then the judges are more lenient. Was this his first offense? So one has to consider all of that, not just, you put a dead snake, I will kill you. Not like that. So Shamika Rishi, he was thinking that, what have you done? You should not have cursed the king to die. King Parikshit, he is a great devotee of the Lord. And he says, he did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary said, alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. And he tells his son that avi pakva buddhi. Buddhi means intelligence. Pakva means mature intelligence. But your intelligence is avi pakva, means immature intelligence. And you had no knowledge about the king. He is never to be placed on an equal footing with common men. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his promise. Okay, so if the king is strong, King Parikshit, he stopped Kali from entering. And that king here cursed to die. So now what will happen? Kali will come in. So you should not have done that. And for what offense? He did not kill me. Even if you believe in eye for eye, tooth for tooth. He insulted at best. So you can also insult him in some way. So that's how he tells his son that what he did was a mistake. And he says, now when the king is dead, what will happen? Rogues and thieves will plunder the wealth of people. There will be social disruption. Animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we will be responsible. Okay. So this is important. Our acharyas, they give a commentary on this. That Kali entered, once Parikshit Maharaj dies, then Kali enters. What is the reason Kali entered? What is the reason? What is it? Krishna left, that is true. So Kali came, but Parikshit Maharaj stopped him. But now when Parikshit Maharaj will die, Kali will come in. So who is actually responsible for? Sorry? The Brahman boy. Because of his anger, because of not judging things properly, because of not taking the position of the king into account, he cursed. And he had the power. Brahmanas were powerful, no doubt about it. So he misused his power. So our acharyas explain that Kali entered because Brahmanas misused their power. And you can see, I have a lot of friends who come from, in India they call them scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. And they tell me about experiences of their fathers and grandfathers and of themselves as well. How they were treated, how they were mistreated, just because of birth in a particular way.
So only Brahmins were treating them like that,
No.
not the Vaishya and the Kshatriya. They were respecting them, but only Brahmins were powerful, so they insulted, isn't it?
So, let me come to this incident. So here, Brahman boy, he insulted, he cursed Kshatriya for no reason. And that's how Kali could enter. The point is that no matter who has power, whether it is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, in Kali, everyone is born more or less like a Shudra. If you have power, if you abuse it, then Kali will enter. Okay. Now whether that is Brahmanas abusing their power, or it has gone the other way also now. People in the name of reservation, they abuse the other caste. So whoever has power, if they become abusive, then it gives invitation to Kali, to come and destroy. Okay. And this is what we are seeing now. So many wars are going on. Why these wars are going on? Because some people who have power, they decide, we will go for war. They don't ask everyone that do you want to go for war. No, they make the decision themselves. So that is the reason why Kali has entered. So if you have some power, if you have some qualities, if you have some good attributes, then one should be very careful. Not act like this Shringi. I heard my father is insulted, so I will curse that person. You should have gone and inspected. Look at his father's attitude. The person who is actually insulted is not bothered. Getting this point clear?
Parikshit Maharaj will, even if this whole incidents would not have occurred, after Parikshit Maharaj, because he is mortal, so after his death, Kali would come.
Yeah, so
this is preponed.
Yes, so in many, yes, but the duty of a king is to stop Kali from entering. That is what Parikshit Maharaj did. Kali tells him, in the last chapter we discussed, Kali tells him, my time has come. You should give me some place. I am surrendering to you. You cannot kill me. So he said, okay, you have surrendered to me, I will not kill you. But you can stay only in these places.
So after Parikshit Maharaj has left the planet, now Kali is restricted to these places where Parikshit Maharaj told him, or
Yes.
it is everywhere.
Yeah, so now, these 5 things are happening everywhere. So Kali has entered everywhere. But when Parikshit Maharaj was there, these things were not happening. So there was no illicit sex, gambling, meat-eating, intoxication. So Kali said, you have given me 4 places, but I cannot stay. You have to give me some actual place which exists in your kingdom. So he said, okay, you stay in the gold where people are collecting excessive.
Prabhuji, this happened because of Parikshit Maharaj himself only. He gave the boon that he can stay in the gold, and he was wearing the gold mukut on his head. So because Kali was on his head, he did what he did. Otherwise he didn't. So Parikshit Maharaj gave himself the place. It was not Shringi, it was Parikshit Maharaj himself, the core reason.
So Parikshit Maharaj stopped Kali. You have to understand that from last chapter, that he stopped Kali. And had Shringi not cursed him, that position would still be there. Okay. So you may analyze, this happened, therefore this happened. But Shringi also, as a boy, he had no authority to curse Parikshit. He could have gone to his father and said that, this has happened. His father would have dealt with it. Okay. In one way, Kavita Mataji, you are right that the time of Kali had come and Parikshit Maharaj had to go away, and Shrimad Bhagvatam was going to appear. So in one way this is a pastime, but the lesson we can learn is that if we've got power, then we should be very careful.
That's why Parikshit Maharaj accepted this curse. He could have reacted and punished him.
So we will read that now. Okay? Okay, so Shamik Rishi continues, Dharmapalo Narapati Su Tu Samrat Brihachava Sakshan. So this is 46. Sakshan Mahabhagavato Rajarshi Hayamedhaya Shutrid Shramayuto Dino Nevas Macha Prabhati. So he says, he summarizes Parikshit Maharaj. Who is he? He is a pious king. He is celebrated and a first-class devotee of the Lord. Sakshan Mahabhagavato. He is a saint among royalty. He is Rajarishi, and he has performed many hot sacrifices. So when such a king is tired and fatigued and stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not deserve to be cursed.
Can I ask, age-wise, like how old was Parikshit, how old was Shukdev? Do you know the timeline on that?
Yeah, so Shukdev Goswami was 16 years.
Yeah.
because for 16 years he stayed in the womb of his mother. I'll narrate that first. Parikshit Maharaj, I'm not sure about his age at the time.
I would guess he'd probably be double the age of Sukhdev.
Possible. But we know Parikshit Maharaj had sons at the time.
Oh,
So
so he must be old.
he must be at least middle age, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That is my assumption.
Mm.
I can find out
Yeah.
what age he was. Okay. So what did Shamika Rishi do? Apapeshu svabhritteshu balakena buddhina papam kritam tad bhagwan sarvatma akshantum arhati. So he prayed to the Supreme Lord that please forgive my son. He's made a mistake because of his immaturity. So just forgive him. Please protect him. And he also says that what is the nature of a devotee? So who can actually forgive Shringi? Who has the right to forgive Shringi? Parikshit Maharaj. Okay. So now Shamik Rishi has not met Parikshit Maharaj face to face, but he is saying here, Tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tadbhakta prabhavopi. So he says that tadbhakta, I know the devotees of the Supreme Lord, they have a quality. Nasya tat pratikurvanti, they do not retaliate. Devotees of the Lord, they will not retaliate. Even if tiraskrita, even if they have been insulted. Vipralabdha, they have been cheated. Shapta, they have been cursed. Shipta, they have been disturbed. Hata api, even if they are killed, they will not retaliate. So this is the quality of a devotee. So he knows that his son will not be harmed because Parikshit Maharaj, being a devotee of the Lord, will not retaliate. So again, here we can see, difference between Shamik Rishi, between Shringi and Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, even though he has the power, he has the qualities, he will not retaliate. Whereas Shringi is cursing because of immaturity. Maybe if he had grown up, he would have practiced spiritual life better than humans. But certainly his father did not approve of what he was. So, iti putra kritadhena sonu tapto mahamuni swayam viprakrito rajna nevagam tad chintayat. So the sage, he regretted the sin committed by his own son, but he did not take the insult upon him very seriously. Okay, so this is how the sage reacted. So next chapter, Suta Vach. Now King Parikshit, whilst returning,
प्रभु जी, अगर कोई इंटेंसली भी करते हैं लोग, अनइंटेंशनली भी करते हैं, कभी आपका इंसल्ट करते हैं या आपको हर्ट करते हैं, आपको डिसरिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, तो ठीक है, आप बोलोगे नहीं कि आप वो बड़े हैं, आप उनकी इज्जत करोगे और आप बोलोगे नहीं या बोलना नहीं चाहोगे, पर कहीं तो आपका मन दुखी होगा ना। फिर जब वो दुखी होगा, जब सामने बंदा आएगा तो वो एक्सप्रेशन तो निकलते हैं, कुछ तो फील होता है, तो वो उसको कैसे कंट्रोल करें, वो तो हो जाएगा।
so this can be dealt with at various levels. Okay. So here in this incident, what we can learn is that Shamik Rishi knew the personality of Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore he did not take any offense. Okay. Shringi did not know the personality of Parikshit Maharaj, he took offense. Okay. Sometimes one has to understand with whom am I speaking. What's the dynamic here? Okay. So one has to take that into account. So I often hear from Ramesh Bhagavatam. So in one class he said that if someone is a bhogi, if someone is not, if someone is a sense gratifier, one should not be humble towards that person, because then that person will destroy you. In another class recently I heard that one should give respect to everyone, every living entity. and see Krishna in them. So one has to have that kind of maturity, how to deal with particular situations. So depending on who is saying, what is being said, what is the intention, then we have to take a decision on that. There is no general statement. But Parikshit Maharaj, we will now read how he reacted to a calamity.
My husband always says that I control my actions, but when you are in anger, you think many things. Like I should punish him, like I should give one class, or whatever. I mean, according to the situation and what has happened. But because we are learning Bhagavata, we are able to control our actions. So you get some reaction for even thinking.
Yeah. So in Kali Yuga it is said that mental thoughts do not carry any reactions, but words and actions will carry. But if you are thinking, then they will translate into words and actions someday. Okay. But we are, one should be very, one should not be a hypocrite. One should understand what is one's platform. But words and actions, they carry a reaction. Okay, not just words. Okay, so Sutavaj, Parikshit Maharaj is coming and he felt that he had committed an offense. So he is thinking, jo hua acha nahi hua. Now he is realizing, now he is actually contemplating. And he is thinking that Durattayam Vyasanam Nati Dirgha, that certainly very soon some calamity will come to me because I have neglected the injunctions of the Lord. I am not supposed to insult a Brahman, I have done that, and therefore something will come to me. And what is he saying? Tadastu kamam yaganishkritaya me yadhana kuryam punareva madda. He says, I now desire without reservation that let that calamity come now. Okay, whatever sinful reaction I am supposed to get, it should come now. For in this way I may be freed of the sinful action and not commit such an offense again. So this is his glory. That as soon as he realized his mistake, he says, yes, I should get the punishment now. I do not want to avoid punishment. Nowadays, people do their best to not get caught, to not get punished. Okay. Again, in my medical legal work, people drink drive. And then they say that, oh, I did not give a sample because I have OCD or I have a panic attack. Then if you have drunken and then driven, then accept. And not get away on the basis of a technicality. You should accept. I've done a mistake and let the reaction come to me now so that I may not commit yathana kuryam punareva madha. Once I am punished, I will not do the same act again. So of course this is Parikshit Maharaj. Nowadays people are punished and they do the same act again. Okay, so very civilized personality, he's thinking, let it come. And then he says, Adeva Rajyam Balamadha Kosham Prakopita Brahma Kulanalo me Dahatva Bhadrasya Punarname Bhut Papi Yasi Dhir Dvijab Deva Bhodya. I am uncivilized and sinful because I have neglected Brahminical culture, God consciousness and cow protection. Therefore, I wish that my kingdom, strength and riches burn up immediately by the fire of Brahmana's wrath, so that in future I may not be guided by such inauspicious acts. See, again, this is important thing to consider. That Parikshit Maharaj, he is not thinking, I made a small offense. He has not even heard what the Brahmana has cursed. He is thinking that I will be destroyed completely because I have committed a sin. Why? So that I will not do the same act again. Okay, so for a gentleman, this is important, that I should rectify my behavior. I should not do the same thing again. So he's saying, let everything happen. He's not attached, you can see from here. If a better thing would have been for Shringi to ask Parikshit Maharaj, you curse yourself. And then he would have said, okay, I curse that I lose everything. Because he's thinking like that. So then when the king was repenting like this, news came to him that you've been cursed to die in 7 days. And what was the king's reaction? Na sa sadhu mene na chire na takshaka nalam prasaptasya virakti karana. So the king accepted it as sadhu. Sadhu means good. He was relieved. So, I have been cursed. My sinful action will now be neutralized. Also, he said, Nalam prasaktasya virakti karana. Now, because of this reason, I can become virakta. I will become detached from everything. If you get a diagnosis that you've got cancer, you've got 3 months to live, then many people, they panic. Here, Parikshit Maharaj, you are dying in 7 days. That's good. I can give up everything. So this is how a devotee reacts in the face of calamity. Parikshit Maharaj, he had the power to nullify the curse. He had the power to punish that Brahman boy. He could have gone and negotiated with the father. अपने बच्चे को बोलो कि अपना श्राप वापस लो. Or he could have prayed to the Supreme Lord that Krishna, you protected me when I was in the womb of my mother. You protect me again now. He could have appealed to his fathers who were devotees of the Lord. He is not doing anything like that. What is he saying? Good. Now I will give up everything and I have a reason now. Now if I tell my subjects, if I tell my ministers, if I tell my queen, if I tell my sons that I'm leaving the kingdom, they will not object to it. Ordinarily they would have objected, but now they will also say, 7 दिन बचे, छोड़ो इनको. Okay. What's the point? So this is how a devotee reacts in calamity. And the greatest calamity is imminent death. So he says, we know of another king who asked the demigods, how much time do I have left? Khatwang Maharaj. And the demigod said, you got 1 second.
1 second.
You got 1 moment to live. So immediately he prays to the Supreme Lord and goes back to God. So Vedic training is like that. That whenever there is a calamity, we use it as an opportunity to approach the Supreme Lord. Because calamities are natural in this world. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Dukkhalayam Ashasvatam. This world is full of misery and it is a temporary place. There will be calamities. As a psychiatrist, I see so many calamities in people's lives. In my own life, in the lives of other devotees or family, friends. No one can say my life has been peaceful, my life has been happy. People will always say that kabhi khushi, mostly gum. Kabhi khushi, mostly gum. Okay? Sometimes happiness, but most of the time it is distress. When there is no distress, then people say, oh, today was good. So every time, health will suffer, finances will suffer, government will introduce a budget with more taxes. Okay. If everything is going well, someone hits your car. Recently, one of my colleagues, her son had parked the car, he had gone to college. Someone else bumped into his car. No fault, he's somewhere else. But miseries in life come uninvited. The devotee, he is thinking that these miseries are the cause of my indifference. So now what he did, Atho vihayam amumcha lokam vimarshito heyataya purasta krishnandri seva madhimanyamana upavishat prayama martya Martya Nadyam. So Krishna sat, Maharaj Parikshit, he left his kingdom, sat down on the banks of Ganges and concentrated his mind on Krishna, rejecting all other methods of self-realization, because transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement. He could have done a lot of other things, but he meditated his mind on Krishna. And why did he sit on the bank of Ganga? So it is described, very beautiful words describing the glories of Mother Ganga. Text 6. Yavalasa Shri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnan Trinevakhadikan Gunitri Punati Lokan Bhayatra Seshan Kastam Vaseve Tamashamana. So, do you know how Ganga appeared in this world? How?
Bhagirathi.
Even before that? When Vaman Dev,
Brahma.
so Bali Maharaj, he said you can have 3 steps to Vaman Dev. So first step he took in the upper planetary systems. So at that time when Vaman Dev put his foot, he pierced the coverings of material universe, and Virja Nadi came from top. So that is Mother Ganga. What Bhagirathi did was brought Mother Ganga from heavenly planets to earth. So that is what Bhagirathi did. But Mother Ganga appeared by the touch of Lord Vaman. So what is present on the feet of Krishna or Vishnu or Vaman? Yeah, but what is present on the feet? अब भगवान के चरणों में क्या पिक्चर है?
Dust.
Dust, yes, so there is dust on the feet of the Lord. What else is there? Tulsi leaves. There is always Tulsi leaves. So, what does Ganga have? Ganga has, it is the most auspicious water because it is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and Tulsi leaves. Therefore, Ganga is important. And that water sanctifies the three. अब आपको समझ में है गंगा क्यों पवित्र है? Because it was touched by the feet of the Lord and it is mixed with the dust and tulsi leaves from the feet of Him. That's why it becomes powerful. Otherwise, many rivers are there, many water bodies are there.
So the Lord is Vaman.
Vaman Dev. Yes. So this water now purifies the three worlds, and even Lord Shiva takes Ganga on his head. Even Lord Shiva accepts Ganga on his head. So consequently, anyone who wants to be liberated at the time of death must take shelter of Ganga. So that is the logic. Okay. That is why people go to Varanasi or Haridwar or Ganga Sagar or Mayapur or Gangotri, Yamunotri. Ganga Kinare हम शरीर छोड़ेंगे. Why? Because of the potential of river. Got this clear? So that's why Parikshit Maharaj sat at the banks of Ganga. So now, what did he do? Mukundangri Mukundangri Ananya Bhavo Muni Prito Mukta Samasta Santa. So he gives up everything and like a sage, he sits on the bank of Ganga thinking about Lord Krishna. So this is what Parikshit Maharaj does. So at that time, all the sages come. This is the beauty. When a devotee leaves the body, even the sages, even the demigods, they want to be there. Why? What good is going to happen?
Lord himself.
Lord will be coming. Krishna will be present. Okay, if I tell you today that Krishna is going to be coming in, for example, Burnley of all places at 9 a.m., will you sit in the class? You take your car and rush to Burmudi. Krishna is coming. So all the sages from all the planetary systems, they heard that Parikshit Maharaj is about to leave. And naturally, he is such a devotee that Krishna will appear. So they all came on the pretext of that we are going on Tirth Yatra. Okay? Tirthabhigam Apadeshe Swayam hi Tirthani Punanti Santa. So they said हम तीर्थ यात्रा पे जा रहे हैं. But what is their quality? स्वयं ही तीर्थानि पुनन्ति सन्ति. That they themselves can purify the holy places. That is their potency. We will read now the names of sages, Narada Muni and so on. These sages are so powerful that they can purify a holy place, and yet they are coming here. कुछ तो बहाना चाहिए ना. परीक्षित महाराज will say, why have you come? हम तीर्थ पे चले थे तो गंगा किनारे आ गए. Some pretext is needed. Like Mataji has a program in her house next Saturday. Okay. So even if she does not invite, we will say, Mataji, do you need any help? So then she will feel obliged. Or we will say, अरे हम यहीं से निकल रहे थे, देखा कीर्तन हो रहा है. So we knocked on the door. Some pretext is needed. So like that. So great sages came. Text 9 and 10. Atri, Chavan, Sharadvan, so on, everyone came. Dvaipayan Vyas came, Narad Muni also came. So all of them, they were there. And King Parikshit received them properly. Okay, so just imagine, yesterday he became angry because he was not received properly. So one can understand, that was a very unusual circumstance. So the king, he gave seats to all the sages with folded hands. He said that I am now going to fast unto death, so please bless me. And he says that I am so fortunate. Generally, the sages consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place. See, this is very important. What Shringi said, Parikshit Maharaj is approving. Shringi said, Kshatriyas are like dogs and crows, they should be left far away. Parikshit Maharaj says exactly that. But generally the sages consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place. And that is his humility. He is not angry at Shringi. He is saying that yes, sages, you don't accept Kshatriyas. Generally, people who are in the renounced order, they do not and they should not associate with wealthy people or people with a lot of power. Okay. So, again, Ramesh Baba says that Sundar Stri or Dhanwan Purush कभी शिष्य नहीं हो सकते, वो आपके सिर पे ही बैठेंगे. Okay. So, beautiful lady and rich person, they never become disciples. They will become the guru of their guru. Okay. So, a guru should stay away from these people. So therefore I tell Supriya, she can never be a disciple. Okay. Anyway, so jokes aside.
आप भी तो धनवान हो, आप भी तो disciple
हो. मैं कहाँ अमित के लिए कह सकते हैं. So anyway, jokes aside, see, therefore sages, they do not associate with these people. Why? Because they are not interested. Generally, they are not interested. Nowadays, it's the opposite. Nowadays, I have seen people that if a celebrity comes, even sages go with folded hands. And that is so insulting to see that. Sages are folding their hands before celebrities or kings or actresses or people who have no morals or ideals. It should be the other way around. So, there are really beautiful verses, to understand the psychology of King Parikshit, you should read this. Because we've got only a few minutes left, I'm skipping. And then he says, I will read from text 15. Dijo paspishta kuhakas takshakova dashakvalam gayata vishnugatha. He says, whatever this may be, takshak or snake bird or whatever, I'm not bothered who is going to be the cause of my death. In my hospital, I have seen, when people get diagnosed with a terminal illness, they want to know everything about it. What is the illness, what stage, what treatment options, where is the best treatment available, everything. Recently my uncle passed away. I was part of all that discussion. What is the best thing? Okay. But Parikshit Maharaj is saying, forget all of that. Dashatvanam gayata Vishnugata. All you do is chant the glories of Vishnu. That is what I'm interested in. Okay, so I don't want any of the sages coming and telling me, Parikshit Maharaj, you drink this particular herb and your Takshak will be destroyed. Or even if he bites you, it will not happen. I'm not interested. That is inevitable. I'm actually fortunate. I got a notice and I want to hear only Vishnu Gatha. And then he says that Punascha bhuyad bhagavat telante rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyam yam upayami srishtim maitristu sarvatra namo dvijebhu. He says that even if I get my birth again, so he's not even praying for liberation. At the time of death, people pray for mukti. Here he's saying, no, I don't want anything like that. What I want is that even if I take birth again in the material world, I have complete attachment to Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. So, Maitrasya tastu sarvatra namo dvijeti. So this is what I want. That I have attachment to the Lord, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all the living beings. That is what a devotee desires. So then Parikshit Maharaj, he puts kusha grass facing east, sits on the southern bank of the Ganga, and he himself faces the north. And he had already given the charge of his kingdom to his son. Who was his son? Janmejaya, correct. Janmejaya. Yes. So now King Parikshit fasts unto death, and all the demigods, they shower flowers upon him. And all the sages also, they say that Sadhityanumodanam. They say that this is very good. So now the sages say that they praise him, that we will also wait with you over here. For the next 7 days, we are also going to sit here, because we know you will go back to the kingdom of Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj, he then said that, thank you, all of you have come here, and you have only come because you desire benefit of others. So you have come to benefit me. Now please tell me, text 24. This text 24 is the basis of the entire Bhagavatam. King Parikshit Maharaj makes this request, and the whole Bhagavatam is narrated for this particular verse. Okay. So what is that? Tatascha prachyaminam viprache vishabhyavipra iti krityatayam sarvatmanam riyamanescha krityam shuddham chatatramrishata bhita. Please tell me about my immediate duty. After deliberation, tell me the duty of everyone in all circumstance, and specifically of those who are about to die. So there are two questions here. What is the duty of people in general, and specifically what is the duty of one about to die? Which question applies to all of you? Both. Okay, many people say first one. You can die anytime. Because both questions apply to us. The whole Shrimad Bhagavatam is a response to these two questions. Okay, very important words. What's the number of the words?
24.
24. Okay. 119, 24. What is the duty of people in general at all times, and what is specifically the duty of one about to die? So at that time, text 25, Shukdev Goswami enters. Shukdev Goswami ji ki jai.
Jai.
So I will tell you briefly the story of Shukdev Goswami. Who is Shukdev Goswami? Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani in spiritual world. Shuka means parrot. So Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani in spiritual world. So once it so happens that Shukdev Goswami, this parrot, comes to the material world, and Shuka always desires to hear the pastimes of Krishna. That is what his pastime is in the spiritual world, to hear about Krishna from Radharani. Radharani talks about Krishna, so he hears about Krishna. So when he comes to the material world, at that time, Lord Shiva is describing, he is narrating Shrimad Bhagavatam to his wife Parvati. So he is sitting in Kailash, he is telling his wife Parvati Shrimad Bhagavatam. But what happens? Parvati Devi goes to sleep, right? She goes to sleep. But Shuka, as a parrot, he hides on the tree underneath where Lord Shiva is narrating Bhagavatam to Parvati. So Lord Shiva, his eyes are closed and he is narrating all the verses. So generally when a person is speaking, what does he want to hear? So Parvati is slept. So the parrot realizes that if I don't do Lord Shiva will also stop. So Shukla, he is saying So Lord Shiva is narrating the entire Bhagavatam. Then when the Bhagavatam is over, he opens his eyes. Parvati is sleeping, so he says, he looks around. And Parvati wakes up. So he says, what happened? You slept? And she says, yes, I'm sorry, I slept. So who was Hunkara Kaun Bharna? So he looks around and he sees the parrot. So he tells the parrot, I did not invite you for this audience, because whoever hears Shrimad Bhagavatam becomes immortal. So Lord Shiva runs after the parrot. So at that time, Vyasadeva, so this parrot enters the ashram of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva's wife is yawning. So when she opens her mouth, this parrot goes into her womb, to the mouth. And then Lord Shiva comes. So Vyasadeva explains. He says, who is this parrot? He says, Radharani's parrot. So he says, okay, I believe. So now this Shuka has entered into the womb of the wife of Vyasadeva. And now he starts developing a human form. But he does not want to come out. Why? Because as soon as the child comes out of the womb of the mother, Maya Devi captures the child. In the womb, it is described. We will read that in 3rd canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam, the prayers of the fetus in the womb. Okay. Janturvacha. So the baby in the womb of the mother prays to the Lord that, let me, when I come out, let me pray unto you. Let me be your devotee. But as soon as the child comes out, Maya Devi captures. So Shukdev said, I am not coming out. So for 16 years, that's why I know his age was 16. So for 16 years, he stayed in the womb of his mother. Then Vyasadeva, he said, my son, don't worry. I will narrate Shrimad Bhagavatam to you. So he narrates Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then Shukdev Goswami comes out of the understanding that even in this world, Krishna is present in the form of Shrimad Bhagavatam. But as soon as he comes out, he leaves. So Vyasdev, fathers are attached to their sons, even if they may not admit that. Fathers like their son. So Vyasdev is running after his son. Oh, come back, come back, come back. Vyasdev is completely new, he is going away. And this is Shukdev Goswami. And at that time it is described that when Shukdev Goswami is going, there is a lake where some of the women are taking bath without clothes. So when Shukdev Goswami goes, they don't cover themselves. But when Vyasdev comes, they cover themselves. So Vyasdev said, what is this? My young boy, he is going, you are not covering yourself. And old man is coming, you are covering yourself. So the women said that, we are women, we understand who is lusty. Your son, even though he is young and he had no clothes on, we understand he is liberated. And you may be old, but you still have lust for it. So we covered ourselves. So that is the qualification of a speaker of Shrimad Bhagavatam. That's why I didn't want to give any classes on Bhagavatam. I was trying to avoid. A lot of devotees said no issue, so I thought I'll speak from what I have heard. The Bhagavatam should be spoken only by a Krishna realized person who is above lust, greed, envy, any material condition. Because Bhagavatam is non-different than Krishna. And what is the quality of the audience? The quality of the audience is they should be like, what is the quality of Krishna?
Surrender?
Surrender, yes. Attentive hearing, completely detached. Completely detached. He is saying, I will not eat, I will not drink, I don't even want to hear any other method. I don't even want liberation. I just want to hear Krishna. So when that combination happens, when you get a speaker like Shukdev Goswami, and when you get an audience like Parikshit Maharaj, then Bhagavatam is effective. Nowadays what is happening? People are charging money for Bhagavatam. People are saying, nowadays I have heard that the speakers not only want money, they will tell their Yajman, you have to book a slot for me on Sanskar channel or Astha channel. It should be the prime time. Then I will come and do Bhagavatam. There is one person who said, I will not charge any money, but you have to give me 5-star residence, you have to give me this, that, and you have to make a charity, you have to make a donation to my charity. Indirect. So then in that assembly, Krishna does not appear. And what is the audience nowadays? They do Bhagavad Satta because they want good health, they want wealth, they want liberation, or they want some fame that, हमारी building में हमारा नाम हो जाएगा, हमारे समाज में हमारा नाम हो जाएगा. And you go to Bhagavad Sattas nowadays, they are like drama, they are like theatres, music, and I heard from one Bhagavad Kathaka that the success of Bhagavad Katha is when the audience have tears in their eyes. Then you have spoken very nicely. One speaker told me, I will train you. Dinbandhu, I will train you in how to speak Bhagavad Katha. I said, how? He said, you have to train your voice in such a way that people have tears in their eyes. What is the most popular pastime in any Bhagavad Sattva? Krishna Sudama Leela. They extend it like this. People will have tears. Then they will open their pockets. So in these assemblies, Krishna does not appear. Sorry, my friends, Krishna will not appear in that assembly. Don't even go there. Okay? Because milk touched by the serpent is also poisonous. It may be milk, but the serpent has touched it. Will you accept that milk? So one should stay away. Best is, Venkat Prabhu asked me, what is the best way to read Bhagavad Gita, to read Bhagavatam? The best way is, sit at home, you all have a copy of Bhagavatam, sit at home, read it nicely. because that is Krishna. The whole Bhagavatam is Krishna personified. The first and second canto are the feet of Krishna. Like that. 10th canto is the face of Krishna. So now we are at the feet of Krishna. We are serving the feet of Krishna. With that consciousness, you read Shrimad Bhagavatam. Now, externally you may or may not understand, but as long as your desire is that I only want to hear Krishna, not to gain any benefit, then Krishna will make sure that he enters your heart and everything will be auspicious. I read Shrimad Bhagavatam I started in 1997. It took me 7 years to read Shrimad Bhagavatam. I was reading 15 minutes every day, a minimum of 5 pages. Some days I would read the whole day, 100 pages also. But it took me 7 years to read Shrimad Bhagavatam. But when I was reading, there were moments when I felt so happy. I felt like actually rolling on the ground. You heard people roll on the ground in ecstasy? I actually felt like that. I did not roll, obviously. I was in local train, I remember at the time. But it gives great happiness reading Shrimad Bhagavatam. So you don't need a middleman. In Kali Yuga, you don't need a middleman. Most of the speakers are faulty, including me. What you should do is go home, open Shrimad Bhagavatam, read nicely, read the verses, read the translation. You got time, read the purport, and Krishna will reveal himself to you without fail. That is how we read Shrimad Bhagavatam.
I bought Shrimad Bhagavatam 2019 when my term was expired, because he was used to read. So because of him I bought it. And every time I was thinking, oh, I need to start. And it was as it is. I started last week when you started. So thanks to you, we don't say. So we need some time, some reason or motivation. So you are all motivation, but inspiration. So thank you so much.
So remember, Parikshit Maharaj, he was motivated to hear Shrimad Bhagavatam when a great calamity arose upon him. So irrespective of what is the reason, to pick up Bhagavatam and read it is the supreme glory. One should read it nicely, Krishna will appear. So then in the remaining of the chapter it is described the physical form of Shukdev Goswami. And what was the complexion of Shukdev Goswami?
Very fair, golden, pink,
blue, like Krishna. Exactly like Krishna. Okay? So as soon as Shukdev Goswami appears, all the sages, they could identify. They are seeing him for the first time, but they all identify him. He is the most exalted of all things. Because one who has pure devotion in his heart, he will command respect from everyone. If he goes into an assembly, others will keep quiet. Once Prabhupada was invited into an assembly of a lot of speakers, and Prabhupada, he kept quiet, he was chanting. But when he stood up to speak, all others also stood up and greeted him. Okay. So, devotee of the Lord, he does not need to introduce himself. As soon as he enters the assembly, people will know he is better than us. So they all pay respects to him. His presence was gorgeous and he was respected by all. So then the sage, Sukdev Goswami, sat perfectly. Parikshit Maharaj welcomed him, offered him obeisances, and he said that after offering sweet words, he says that he repeats his question, text 37. Atak prichhami sarvasiddhim yoginam paramam gurum purushasya deha yat karyam mriyamanasya sarvata. So he repeats the same question. What is the duty of men in general and specifically for one who is about to die? Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember and worship, and what he should not do. Please explain this to me. So, in this way, after being questioned by the king, Shukdev Goswami began to reply. So that takes us to the second canto. So just to summarize from this class, in the incident of Shamik Rishi, Shringi and Parikshit Maharaj, one has to be really careful if you got some troubles. Before you speak anything, before you do anything, you need to know all the facts and then take an action. Most of the times you don't need to act straight away. You can wait for days, weeks, months, years before taking a course of action. But you should be really sure what you are doing. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed, out of great humility, he accepted it. He did not retaliate. And he took that as an excuse to detach himself from the kingdom and listen to Shrimad Bhagavatam. His only request was, just tell me about the glories of Krishna. And then Shukdev Goswami comes, who is a detached Mahabhagavat. And he will now narrate entire Shrimad Bhagavatam from second canto onwards. So that is how we should approach Shrimad Bhagavatam. So I request all of you, when you read Shrimad Bhagavatam, just read, because that is the only thing that we are meant to do, hear about Krishna. So of the 9 processes of devotional service, the first were Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. So who is the Acharya for Shravanam, for hearing? Parikshit Maharaj. Who is the Acharya for chanting? Shukdev Goswami. So if you speak about Bhagavatam in the mood, in the footsteps of Shukdev Goswami, if you hear about Bhagavatam in the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj, then our life will be successful. So I request all of you to read Shrimad Bhagavatam. One scripture which will give you the perfection of life. See, in Bhagavad Gita we discuss the concepts of spiritual life. Soul, super soul, karma, reincarnation, yoga, the different types of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga. So the concepts were made clear. But if you actually want to practice devotional service, if you want the manual for devotional service, then you have to read.
Without verse?
Sorry?
Is it okay if we don't read the Sanskrit verse, just translation and purport?
Yeah, see whatever. But I always say that even if you don't understand the Sanskrit words, just read them once. That is, those are the words spoken by the Lord and His devotees. So of course, Prabhupada has done English translations. Always nice to read Sanskrit. And I personally found that when I read Shrimad Bhagavatam for 7 years, and I actually read Sanskrit verses 3 times. One in Sanskrit, one in English. Then of course I was reading the word-to-word translation. Then I was reading it back. So actually 4 times I read. And then at the end of 7 years, my Sanskrit improved. So then it becomes really nice. There are some messages and flavor in Sanskrit language which you cannot have in English language.
Yes.
So you can pick up on those sentiments. It's really nice. So read once and see how it goes.
This translation enough for interpretation.
Okay, so what I did was I was reading translation and purport. Then what I found is sometimes I lost the plot of the chapter because it was going on for days together. Yeah, so at the end of the chapter I then just quickly read the translation again to capture the plot again. So, but it's nice. Prabhupada has written really nice words. And some of them are very powerful. Okay? श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री सुखदेव गोस्वामी की जय, परीक्षित महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, पिताई गौर प्रेम।